Hi, I'm Ina, certified business and life coach, founder of Thrive with Ina podcast, and a columnist for Intentional Living magazine. There's always room for improvement in your current situation, whether it's life, business, or relationships. I help women around the world to get equipped with the exact tools that are needed to propel to the next level. On this podcast, you can learn all the encouraging stories of incredible entrepreneurs, their hardships, and the exact tools to achieve success. You can also search for mindful meditation episodes that can help you get grounded in the chaos of life and business. You can get full access to my coaching platform and this podcast on www.thrivewithina.com. And now, tune into a new episode of Thrive with Ina podcast, and happy listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Thrive with Ina podcast. Today, we have a fabulous guest, and she's so fabulous that I had to have her on the podcast second time. This is her second appearance to Thrive with Ina podcast, and let's welcome Jess.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be back. I love our conversations.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming back. We absolutely had to have you back, and this is a perfect timing to have you back. And I'm going to tell you guys all about why this is the perfect time to have Jess back. But first, let's remind everyone what it is that you do. What is that fabulous collective that you have? So everyone, Jess runs Boss Babes Who Brunch, and it's a local chapter of a networking group for amazing entrepreneurs on Long Island here in New York. And I'm going to pass the microphone to Jess. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll move on.
well, thanks so much. Yep. So I'm Jessica Moloney. I'm the founder of Boss Babes Who Brunch. We cater to all women entrepreneurs or even women like looking to start a business. We just love the collective mindset of when women like this get together, want to support each other, want to grow, want to succeed. Like conversations are just a different level when we get together. And it's something that I feel like you can't always find with your friends. So coming together with other people who have similar desires, similar passions, we can have these conversations, and those conversations help elevate us into the mindset, into the place where you can go and work on your business. You can go and spark new ideas. You can go and like be more creative and just kind of feel motivated, which I feel like is something that everyone is always looking for, that extra push. So we do monthly networking events, and we also have our mastermind membership, which is another monthly opportunity where we meet and we really dive deeper on the business building conversation. There's trainings, there's masterminding, there's community support. I call it my dynasty because it's full of women building empires, and we all come together, share our collective knowledge, and grow together, work together, support each other, hold each other accountable. And I'm really loving the whole ambiance of what we're building here.
I love it so much. And that wonderful community that you built, the wonderful business that you built is leading you into a whole new adventure, which is why we just had to have you back on Thrive Within a podcast. And the reason is, drum roll everyone, is the breakthrough experience. A huge undertaking. It is a conference of an amazing group of entrepreneurs and thought leaders that are going to bring incredible value for all of the guests. March 22nd in Huntington, New York. Everyone is going to be able to get the link in the show notes after we're done recording. And I've published this podcast episode. But please, without further ado, tell us about the breakthrough experience.
I would be happy to. So I have been to 1,000 conferences. Well, maybe not 1,000, but a bunch, right? And there's just so much value that you get from it, not just the learning piece of it, but the being in a room where people are really, really there for like to learn and to grow from experts, not just with each other, but learning from people who are where we want to be, above us in a sense. And I've gone to, Jersey, I've gone to the city, I've gone, places that are relatively local, but I've never found anything like this on Long Island. And I think we spend so much time looking at each other on social media that we come to feel like we know each other in some silly sense. that what if we could actually meet some of these peers that we have on Long Island, who we look at, who we admire, and actually learn from them, get in the same room with them, see how they've done it here. Because I've talked to other people in other places, and the way that they grow their business in Atlanta or in Florida or Virginia, they're different. If you want to grow a business out here on Long Island, like there just might be some different techniques that we use to talk to the people out here. We're bred a little different out here in the best way. But
Very different.
and I wanted to be able to bring that conference style to Long Island, but I didn't really want to call it a conference. I'm calling it an experience because it's a place that you're going to come to experience something. You're going to experience high energy. You're going to experience complete transformation. There will be sparks flying and hitting people in the head, also in the best way possible, sparking new ideas and new avenues of creativity. And it is so important to me to bring this. It's not just a social gathering. It's an opportunity to get something so valuable that you can then take with you outside of that room into the remainder of 2025 and actually make this your year. Actually build the business of your dreams and have the connections locally for that, extra level of support to know that like they've done it, you can do it too. And you have this action plan, which everyone will leave with, which I'm super excited about. An action plan to then go just apply it. That's really the next step out there. So that was kind of the vision behind creating the breakthrough experience and having it be an experience, not just a stuffy conference, also not just a social event, but everything in between. There'll be opportunity for participants to like get involved and ask questions, and that's going to be probably a little crazy but so fun.
I love that. And I am so excited to be a speaker at this experience, at this conference. I literally cannot wait. I'm like trying to speed up the time. Not that it's not going fast, it's already going fast, but now
I
I'm
know.
looking forward for March in many ways possible. And I am super excited to be a part of it. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of it. I love coaching people. Actually, I was just thinking about it yesterday that coaching and public speaking are probably the two things that I never thought would be my calling. But the more I learn about myself and applied self mastery tools throughout the years, I just learned that it's one of my favorite things to do out of all of the tricks I have up my sleeve. So I'm super excited to be a part of it. So tell us a little bit about how the logistics of building a conference are different from what you normally do. Tell us, like, what are the differences between your business skills and applying those business skills to building a conference? Like, what new things are you learning? What are the new things you're experiencing? How is it different? And is it inspiring you? Is it frustrating? Like, what are the emotions and feelings that you're having? Like, all the things that if someone's sitting there and thinking, like, I have a business, but I want to bring people together into a group so we can be supportive or whatnot. Like, how do you feel now that you've taken this huge undertaking and you seem so excited and inspired to build it? But, like, I'm sure you've encountered different challenges, and how are you overcoming them? How do you push yourself through these challenges? All the things. Tell us all the things.
Oh gosh. Well, to answer one of the questions, like what am I feeling? I'm feeling all the things.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously I'm excited about it, but yeah, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, it's scary,
Yeah.
but you bottle all of those things together and you shake it up a little bit and it comes out as excitement. And
Oh, I love
it
that metaphor.
oh, thank you.
I love it. I love it. Trademark it.
Hey, it's mine. I'll share. But one of the things that I always tell a lot of like my clients that I work with and coach is nervousness and excitement are the same emotion. It's just the perspective in which you're looking at the thing in front of you that determines if it's like a scary, nervous thing or exciting thing. Right? Like stepping out on stage, people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." Other people are like, "I'm so nervous." It's the same thing. It's just what you think is going to happen. So
Mhm.
this idea of future casting and envisioning what this is going to look like. Like before I even posted about it, I said, this will sell out. We're almost at 50% capacity. This will sell out. We're going to March. So this is happening. But, one of the things that I learned as I was kind of starting this process of building the breakthrough experience was, you know, I thrive on my relationships, like reaching out to you and asking you to be a part of something like this. Like I haven't told you this, but I'll share it with you now. Like one of the reasons I wanted you there was because I was that girl looking at you on social media and admiring you and being like, oh my God, look at her. Look at what she's built. Like she's so cool. I want to be friends with her. I want to know more about her. And like I know that if I'm thinking this and like that's why I chose the people who are going to be on this stage,
Aw.
strategic planning. Like I want people who I look up to and I admire and I see doing things. Like I see you, right? I also want people up on that stage who are desiring to be in that position, because there's something beautiful about the new entrepreneur who is starting their venture and wanting to speak about that experience because that's relatable. And there's somebody like you who's built several businesses online and in real life that people want to hear from you as well. So there's a strategic plan and like who it is that you're having provide to this audience, right? Like they're getting so many avenues of business building, but it's having those relationships. And then the business side of course is like contracts. Like I know I told you I was like, I kind of have this thing, do you mind signing it? It feels a little icky, but you know what, that's the business side of things, and like when it comes to networking and masterminding and relationships, like love that. Business is a little bit, it feels a little different sometimes, but it's so necessary. So having that balance of who you are and what you need and what you want, like that's been a tricky act, but something I've been learning through this process for sure.
That's amazing. There's so much was said in this sentence, and all I hear was, "She loves me." I love human psychology, and you can obviously relate since that's actual, job of yours, other
Yeah.
among other things that you do. Human psychology. For those of you who don't know, Jess also is a psychologist, right?
Licensed mental health counselor. Yeah.
Yeah. So human psychology is something that you study and know very well, and like I've heard all the things in what you just said, and yes, business and whatever, and blah blah blah, and all I think of is like, oh my God, she loves me.
Well, that's right. It's relating to people on an emotional level. That's part of sales. We could talk about that another time.
Yes, I love it. But I mean, you didn't even have to sell me. I love, I love public speaking and coaching and all of the fun things and getting involved in networking and meeting other people. I also thrive on relationships, which is why I started this podcast, because just going out to coffee or lunch seemed like, yes, it's eventful, but not really. How do I really learn about someone? I
Yeah.
started a podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
always having lunch meetings or coffee meetings or matcha meetings or whatever, and then I actually get to interview awesome people and share their stories with the world, which I'm super excited about. So, tell us about why would someone who is interested in self mastery, and there's lots of options out there in the world for different, coaching things and conferences and experiences and self mastery things. Why would someone should choose coming to the breakthrough experience?
That's a great question, and I think that there's something that's going to be different about being inside of this room. Like Boss Babes Who Brunch started last September. We're just at our 1 year mark. This March event is going to be, I think, actually the milestone of our first ticketed event from last year. So this is going to be our first conference, and there's something special about the first experience. We're going to be obviously in a very powerful room, but it's going to be intimate. There's going to be an opportunity for you to connect with all the people that you want to connect with. There's going to be a vibrance of excitement where, nobody's ever been here before and everyone wants to be part of this experience because this is going to continue. This is going to grow. This is something that just hasn't been done out here before. And we're not just doing it, but we're doing it big. This is going to be memorable. This is going to be something that, like I said, you leave with a lasting legacy of what this started for you.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the thing that gets you to maybe maybe put your wheels in motion, maybe like pedal a little faster, but to start doing things at this self-mastery level. These ideas on all the avenues that you can utilize to grow financially, mentally and emotionally, strategically, systematically. There's so many avenues that we're going to cover here, and to be part of this first experience, to be kind of like at home almost, here on Long Island. Like we have people actually traveling from Philadelphia to come, and obviously everybody's welcome, but there's something unique about being in this arena that you're just not going to get anywhere else. Like I said, the people that are going to be contributing and speaking and offering their expertise and services, like you're like one in particular, well, several of them, you're going to have to pay a lot more to get into rooms with these people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know what a coaching package costs with you, but like you're going to have to pay a lot more to get into rooms with these experts. And I'm bringing them all together in one room.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just different. It feels different. And I know that it's going to be transformational for everybody who's there.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love conferences in self-mastery space. We've talked about it with you privately, but um, just for the purpose of this podcast, for those of you who haven't actually gone into an experience like this, into a conference that would involve several speakers in the self-mastery space, these things are life-changing. I mean, you leave the room and not only do you want to change your life, you want to change the lives of others around you. You start noticing things you've never seen before. You start paying attention to low vibrations that you've never actually been aware of before. I think that's the best thing that I've learned from all of these conferences that I've attended in the past. The low vibrations that I felt afterwards were so easy to eliminate after these conferences. It's just like you get equipped with all the tools. You literally go, it's like going to Home Depot for me. You go to Home Depot, you get a toolbox, and you
Yep.
go home and you fix every project that you couldn't fix without the toolbox.
Yep.
And this is what going to self-mastery conferences for me is like. You're going to get an incredible toolbox that whatever you do with afterwards is up to you, but now you have the tools.
Absolutely. Yes. And they're like built in. You can
Yeah.
build them into your system and your psyche. And there's always going to be that accountability factor of like, like how do you now support yourself in applying all the things that you learn and utilizing the tools, like you said. But yes, to come and to, there will be a shift. Like you will leave feeling shifted, and like that's a really great thing. But human behavior will always be human, right? So you will have your struggles. You will feel like you're being challenged again. But that's when you go back to your workbooks, you go back to your toolbox, and you're like, okay, like Ina taught me this at the conference, like I know what I need to do. And like then you plug into the things that you already have, right? If you don't have that toolbox, you can't plug in, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't adjust, getting stuck in just like a human design element of, feeling low motivation or feeling low vibration or just like not knowing what to do. Right. Like I know where I go to plug in. Like when I get there, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, oh, what I don't know what to say. I don't know we get into these places, but we don't stay there. We're like, okay, like I need to plug in. I need to go plug in. I need to go listen. I need to go do. I need to go talk. And then you're like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back and ready to go, but we need that, that's why like having a support system is also so valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite metaphoric phrase that I don't even know who's responsible for it. I don't know who to quote it to, but bathing doesn't last, neither does motivation, which is why I do it daily. So that's like my favorite quote,
Yeah. I love that.
comparing bathing to motivation, because it really doesn't last. You have to shower daily.
Right. Are you get this thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the speaker lineup. What are the guests going to walk away with? They obviously are going to walk away with incredible value, but
Mhm.
what are the speakers? Some of the speakers, you don't have to talk about all of them, maybe. Just give us like a couple of speakers that you think we can leave people off with like desire to learn more and find out more.
Yeah, of course. Well, obviously, like you will be there. So this whole idea of self-mastery and like doing what you do and doing it at a high level, performing at a high level regularly, to build one business, several businesses without burning out, without falling, prey to this human design element that we've talked about. I think that you offer so much in this self mastery space. And obviously, that's going to be a huge, huge component of it. We also have my good friend Erica Lane. She is a absolute leader when it comes to pricing profit, and she's gonna like her whole thing is like no more broke entrepreneurs. So we're gonna be talking about money, and I know that sometimes that's like a sticky conversation for people, but pricing profit, like let's all make the money. Let's figure out how we're gonna do that, the way to price your offers, the way to position your offers. She's an expert. She's a keynote speaker. She
Yes.
gets paid thousands and thousands of dollars, and she's coming out to see us, and I'm so thrilled to get to see her again.
Amazing.
Uh, we also have
You had
Chris.
me at that because a lot of people, I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, I don't know what it is about being an entrepreneur and being afraid to look at your own money and look at the relationship with money is something that most entrepreneurs struggle with. It blows my mind. I was there as well. And because I wasn't able to have a good relationship with money, I was taken advantage of in the worst ways possible,
Mhm.
not just in business, but in real life as well. So, and I see that such a common thing in entrepreneurship, especially the women, which is really mind blowing that women just struggle across the board to manage money and to have a relationship with money.
Yeah.
So I think that is the most invaluable lesson. We don't actually have education on money unless you choose to get an MBA or a finance degree.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches us about money in life. It's
No.
unless your parents make that a point, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And to learn that kind of value at a conference or experience, it's really incredible. I'm super looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Well, money mindset is a whole different thing than like finances, even, like a lot of the girls, even inside of like my group here, like they're afraid to ask for money. They're afraid to ask what they're worth. But why? I can understand it, the mental components of it, but overcoming that is huge, because if you don't sell your offers, people don't know you have them. If you don't
Yep.
ask what you're worth, then like you're working a lot harder than you need to.
Yeah.
Right? So these are definitely components that I think we all need like a little like reality slap
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Tell us a little bit about another speaker and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so we have Krista. She is the operator of Pretty Local. She is a powerhouse when it comes to like getting press and media, and she's made so many incredible connections through her involvement in writing and article contributions for magazines and things like that. So she's going to be talking to us about how to get press and media.
Is she in
And
Huntington?
uh, I don't know where she's based, but, she runs the Pretty Local Long Island. She covers a lot
Yeah,
of the
right?
beauty scene.
Is it the
Yeah.
law firm? I think I've met her. I think I've met her at a recent event, and she actually, I think she coached me like in a presentation form. If that's the person I'm thinking about, did she just have a baby?
No.
Okay, so it's a different one.
Okay.
Maybe they're partners because I'm pretty sure it was pretty local.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm
Uh,
sorry. I was like so excited that it's the same agency. Um,
that's No, she covers, like, a lot of the Long Island beauty scene and, talks about, like, where people can go to get high quality,
oh yes, I have met her.
services.
Different one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's wonderful. She's another one that I reached out to, and I was like, "I'd really love to have you," because it's another area of business that's not covered often, right?
Yeah.
Like, getting into a magazine, like, the first time I got into a magazine, I was like, "Oh my god, like, my name is printed in a magazine." I've been quoted in books, and it's so exciting, and it's also a great way to, you know, showcase your authority. And for people to be able to talk about those experiences, reinforces their authority in their business, and it's a great way to just, increase promotion and things like
Yeah, absolutely. It- Being a thought leader is really interesting because once you've declared yourself a thought leader, you're like, yeah, cool. I can be a public speaker, a thought leader, all the things. But then how do you build the trust and the credibility? And I think that's seems to be the common theme in between all of the speakers that you chose is that not only are they public speakers, coaches, and, amazing entrepreneurs, but they've also spent a lot of time and effort in building credibility and trust. So, people that are coming to this experience already have the trust in your speakers, which is, I think, is very important for you, right?
Oh, absolutely, but there's something about that, a lot of people want the get rich quick, or like, I wanna be successful, even though I just started, like, I mean, I do. Who doesn't wanna be in bigger places, like, that's part of the growth mindset that we love. So that's not a bad thing, but it's like recognizing, like, like one of my other, like, speakers that is coming, like, you start from the bottom,
Yeah.
you start from, like, nowhere, and then you become known for something, and then you continue to evolve from there. And like, I said at one of the recent brunches, like, I want to invite you to fall in love with the journey. Like, reaching the top of the mountain is exciting, and like, obviously the goal, but that journey is what keeps you going. It's what lights you up. Like, once you're done, it's kind of like, okay, I got to figure out what's next.
Yep.
This journey is part of the fun. Like, having this conversation right here is part of the fun, right? Like, being at that conference is gonna be part of the fun, right? So like, I know that there's treacherous trails sometimes on this journey, but taking these glimmers and these opportunities of growth, and like putting them in your back pocket, keeping them in the forefront of your mind, and knowing that this is part of it. This is the good part, and it's
Yeah.
taking you somewhere, and that's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell me about starting from nowhere. I moved to America 15 years ago with $300, no friends, no family, and I did not speak any English. So for me to be in the public eye, actually offering self mastery tips, guidance, and tools is insane. Like, that is just like, how did I get there? So I look back sometimes, I just sit back and I look at the few years that led me here and all the hard work that I've put in to not just build businesses, but also to speak a foreign language,
Mm,
and having family that doesn't speak a foreign language, for example. Some of my family members do, but some they don't. So just having to navigate, you know, public speaking at events like this and coaching people in a foreign language is kind of mind blowing. And sometimes I'm like, I do have a lot to offer. And so I'm so excited to be a part of this conference. I'm part of this experience. I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you so much again for coming on to the podcast and sharing everything that you are working on. And how can our listeners connect with you, connect with the collective, and buy a ticket for the experience? Tell us.
yeah. Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at bossbabeswhobrunch.li. And then tickets for the breakthrough experience can be found at bossbabesbreakthrough.com. And you can also learn more about us and our mastermind membership on our website, which is bossbabesbrunch.com.
Awesome. And I'll link all these things in the show notes as well. So it will be very easy for our listeners to get their tickets and get excited. Even though we're 3 months away, I feel like it's going to go by that quick, especially in, nowadays modern times with instant gratification and all. I think 3 months is like what 10 years ago a whole year would feel like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It does. Sometimes I feel like it's dragging. Other times I'm like, oh my gosh, that went too fast.
Yeah.
But
So the lesson is to stay grateful and present, but while you are anticipating with excitement, like I am, for this March breakthrough experience. Thanks so much
absolutely.
again, Jess.
Thank
And
you
I
for
am
having me.
looking forward to working with you and looking forward to the 3 months of marketing until the event.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me again. I always love having our conversations.
Me too. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. See you all soon.
Bye.